why are we doing this podcast?
The long story short is we spoke up about something that we felt was not right. And as a result, we have been trolled and harassed for many, many years. We've tried to move on, but these people have continued to try to bring up all of this stuff and make it act like we care. So at this point, it's gotten to such a ridiculous extent that now I can see that there are children that are watching YouTube videos that now will start attacking and trolling just because they can. And it really sucks when the other parties are out there just talking willy-nilly and saying whatever they want. We decided maybe it would be a good idea to start.
What's up?
I said Vic said like 2 things on the matter.
Right, literally 2 tweets, and they were, please don't harass
he actually
anyone.
moved on from it, and we tried to move on, but we're going to make a podcast 2 years later. We're clearly moving on.
She said the other party. She said the other parties, right?
She's treating him like a Voldemort.
In a suit. A party is, of the people involved. She has to be referring to Nick and Ty, right? Even though Nick isn't actually part of the suit, right?
I mean, Vic did bring up the fact that they keep trying to cancel him, but I don't really count that either. And he still doesn't even bring that up that often.
At a podcast where we can talk about our experiences. We're not offering any new information. Of course, it's
no new information. How many years did we listen to, I can't wait till it all comes out, and we can't wait to go to court and all that stuff. No new information.
So what's the point of this stupid thing?
No proof. Yeah. Literally just for them to jerk off.
It's to milk it after it's died down.
There's one thing I wanted to find. I don't know if anyone has it or whatnot. It is the thing where they talk about, they say that they have all the evidence to show that he did it. And I really want to find where they said that, because I distinctly remember them either tweeting that out or saying it somewhere along the lines, because that was one thing that just kept going through my mind the entire time, and it never came out. And I'm just like, okay,
maybe it's
what
in
actually
episode 2,
happened
man.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. They claim at the end of this that they might have Mars Girl on. I can't wait till Ron is on. And I guarantee you, when Ron comes on, they're going to record that video and never release it, because he's just having to hear.
I don't recall those tweets I made. I'm
no,
telling you the truth.
But just like everything, like he can't help himself, and all of that stuff will get them dragged back into court for one reason or another. Anyway, let's hear some more.
Ongoing case, so we don't want to do anything to affect that. But we are going to talk about some of the misconceptions regarding us and our experience and what actually happened.
Yeah. And to clarify, for those who don't know, we were sued for defamation, conspiracy, which we like to call conspiracy.
Once again, that is a mischaracterization, because they are playing to their audience, right? The lower level of information. They're treating conspiracy in the colloquial sense of, in a back room with cigars. Tinfoil hat, right? When what they're being accused of is civil conspiracy, which simply means 2 or more people coming together to further a tort, in this case, tortious interference and those sort of things.
I think they just can't count.
What's up? They can't count?
I think they just can't count. Like, they don't realize that that's 1 and 2.
Well, they definitely can't count, because they accused Vic of having so many roles and everything.
Well, and the word conspiracy comes from the word conspire. Like the idea is they conspired against Vic to get him fucking fired.
Right.
Tortious interference with a contract.
God, even this mystical tortious interference, that thing that we're very guilty of.
Right.
Tortious interference with a contract. Even though there was no contract.
We did have a contract as well.
And it's interesting.
Something I should remind you guys is that a piece of paper isn't actually a contract. The contract is the agreement. The piece of paper is the proof. All right. So
it's a receipt.
Yeah. So believe it or not, a verbal contract, even if that's all Vic had, which I don't have any reason to believe that is all that Vic had, but even if that is all that Vic had, that's still breach of contract. That's still tortious interference of a contract.
The way Ricada put it on his stream was that being announced at these cons,
Mm-hmm.
at the moment they put you in the advertising or anything, you have a contract. So it's not like he just pulled it out of thin air. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Even
They're
if
not
it
going to
was
print
horrible.
something that they don't have any absolute assurance on.
Oh yeah, it would be stupid otherwise.
Black X Omega says, to them, trolling and harassment is just tweeting back to them, even though they tweet 24/7 to everyone else. Correct.
Exactly. It's all the framing. They're just they have to paint everyone who's opposition as the big baddies. They're all like Nazis, misogynists, this and that, because otherwise they can't get their narrative across.
Right. And this is why I started with Vera, right? Because I thought that she really eloquently put it, how if you question these women, then you're all of these things. But she is a woman, Vera, right? And when she questions anything, like, she gets all that flack thrown at her.
Because we were sued for defamation for saying someone did something they also said they did.
Yeah.
So it is a little confusing.
Yeah.
So here's the, as far as I can find, the thing where they claim that he said he did the thing.
So is it possible that Miss Marchi perceived pain when you pulled her hair in the lobby that day, and that you were unaware of that?
Keep in mind, this is 5 hours into the depositions.
And the reason I ask is you testified earlier.
I had no indication when it happened or in the years that followed that we've been friends and interacted that there was anything offensive or painful about it. In my mind, my recollection, it was very casual, playful interaction, as happens all the time in the hallways of Funimation.
But you would agree that she certainly could have perceived it differently than you.
Sure.
Is it your testimony today that you did not say something sexual into Miss Marchi's ear at that moment that you were grabbing her hair?
Absolutely.
Do you recall if you said anything into her ear?
I don't recall that I said anything. If I did, it was literally something about, "Oh, I love your hair," or "Love it, it's awesome." It was that kind of thing.
Okay.
So we're just going to kind of talk about our experience too, because we know we're not the only people. We have contacted and talked.
The other thing that they meant by he admitted to it was the apology, right? Because he first said,
right. That's of course they claimed that his apology, right, when he said, "I'm sorry if I ever made any of you," like referring to the people at Back Anime, his fans feel uncomfortable, right?
Yeah,
like
for the hugging and stuff. Not
and
this
again,
had literally nothing to do with Monica or Jamie. Or
right.
maybe
and
it was
the original plan they had was to get Vic deposed and then immediately file TCPA. And as we saw, as they did, they tried to release portions of the deposition transcript and point to that as, incriminating lines, things that were phrased poorly, as I think it was there, where Vic, what he should have done, again, this is 5.5 hours into the deposition, right? He's been doing this for hours. And his big slip up is responding in a way that didn't start with, "I have zero recollection of this ever occurring to begin with," right? So they are taking it as a tacit admittance that he did it by the fact that he didn't outright deny it and said, if anything, it was like "Oh, I love your hair," right? Kind of like playfully touching the hair versus what they argued, which was grabbing and jerking around. She claimed I could not move, I think it was Jamie claimed, grabbed the base of the skull to the point where I could not move my head because you're grabbing by the roots, right? So there's no wiggle room to move your head.
Talk to some other people who have spoken up and gotten the harassment or who have actually been sued. And so we kind of felt like this is going to keep happening until people change, until, people are held accountable for their actions. And so until then, there's a lot of people that are left very, very alone. And Monica and I had the benefit of being with each other. Mm-hmm. We've always said we couldn't have made it if we didn't have each other through this whole thing. And a lot of people don't. So this is kind of our way to let people know that they're not alone. Like, we went through this shit. We've been through it. Here's our experience, just to kind of help other people understand what we went through.
Evidence of her proving that she colluded with her.
Right? Yeah,
exactly.
Also,
and again, that's the thing about conspiracy, is that you aren't actually required to prove that two defendants acted together. You just have to show that they acted with anybody else, right? So you don't even have to have the co-conspirator in the suit. So it doesn't even, like, they effectively admit that they communicated, they coordinated their stories. They literally say this in the podcast. They talked to each other and decided, oh yes, our stories are so similar, we need to release them, right? In order to lend credence to all the stories out there. This is almost verbatim what they admit to doing in this podcast. That, by definition, is civil conspiracy.
The whole thing about them having each other or whatever, I could get through it. It's like, Vic got through it. He's done his part of, like, just hunkering down, moving forward, moving past it. Come on. They're just like, oh my God, it's a good thing that we're together in this lawsuit, baby, so we can like take him down together.
Don't quite understand the level of harassment we experienced, but also to let other people know who are going through it. You're not alone. We did it too.
I think that's a huge part of it, because we want to clear up some misconceptions, but also we want to create a safe space for people who might, want to come forward with their own accounts, or might want to understand that they're not alone, and that, yes, you're probably going to get attacked, but the longer we stay silent, the more that...
Just to be clear, do not interact with Monica or Jamie or Ron or any of these people. Leave it to the courts, please. Okay? I'm begging you. Do not, quote unquote, harass them. Don't give them any ammunition. Don't bother them at conventions. Please, don't bother them.
Right. You will literally become the statistic of, we got 500 people harassing us daily, even though you're just saying, hi.
Right.
What did she say again? Oh, actually, Random 11, you had something to say?
Yeah, you had something, Random 11?
So she's basically saying, like, oh, I want to make it a safe space for other people to come forward. So in essence, she's saying, like, hey, we've primarily lost this battle in the world of public opinion.
Space? Yeah.
So we're fishing once again. Let's go trolling for some news stories of anyone that's willing to throw Vic under the bus. And we don't really give a shit if you get sued later or not. We just want someone to badmouth Vic. And
she claims this will be a safe space, but then they later, in like 2 minutes, are going to go on to say, you will probably be harassed. They
already said it. Yeah, they already said it. Yeah.
The other thing is, I guess this podcast we're on right now is a dangerous space, so it's a really good thing that they set up a safe space in their podcast. Like, it must be like...
Excuse me, this is the danger zone?
The disingenuous nature, like, let me put it this way. When you had to decide if you were going to be Kick Vic or I Stand With Vic, which, for the record, I've always stated I am neither. I only want the truth, and I believe that the courtroom is where people are going to have to put up or shut up, right? So far, all the evidence seems to only be going one way. But I am open to have that bombshell witness come in with videotape of Vic raping somebody. I'm ready for it to happen. Okay? I'm ready to see it. But so far, I've heard Neil Kaplan say that Vic raped him in the back of the neck, and then I played the video, and that wasn't what happened. I heard them claim that, he tried to sit next to Marchi, so I said, not today, buddy, you're sitting next to me. And then the photo came out and showed Vic sitting right next to her because you're a dumb cuck who forgot that photos exist, right? I've seen all of these people lie and lie and lie, and that's all I've seen so far. Nothing Vic said has turned out to be a lie, except for maybe one thing where he said he doesn't sign non-canon works or yaoi, in which case there are videos on YouTube, which destroys the other argument against this, that he doesn't sign yaoi. Right now,
honestly, he should just be locked up for that. Like, he lied about that. Jesus.
That's apparently what freaking Han Leia originally accused him of being a homophobic, rude asshole over.
Arguably, that is what literally started this. He didn't want to sign fan art.